Congratulations to Coach Don Staley, from South Carolina. She received an extension through the 29-30 season, making her the highest paid coach in women's basketball, according to ESPN. Now, Coach Staley has been a stable in the women's basketball realm. So since 2008, she's won 3 national championships with South Carolina, and that's back in 2017, 2022, and then last year in 2024. Now, Coach Staley has changed that program around, and I think changed college basketball, especially women's college basketball, for the last, since 2008. And I think it has an effect on the WNBA as well. But her being able to do what she's done in college basketball, it's been monumental. And I'll talk about a little bit later the effects it has on other sports as well and other coaching jobs as well. But since she's been at South Carolina, Coach Staley has coached Aja Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, Camila Cardoso, Shannon Johnson, just to name a few. Aja Wilson even has a statue outside their arena right now for the play that she had and her dominance in the WNBA has been noticeable as well. Now, Coach Staley has changed the culture of the team. Like I said, before she started coaching in 2008, the last time they made the NCAA tournament was back in 2002 and 2003 season. And like they had that 5-year hiatus, and they had never won a national championship until Coach Staley got there. So Coach Staley changed the whole culture and was able to bring in these top-notch recruits that normally wouldn't, come to a South Carolina. But she was able to bring those recruits probably mostly off of her status and then her pitch. She's just real about everything. I remember Juju Watkins' documentary. Surprisingly, I didn't know this, but she visited Coach Staley in South Carolina. And when they visited, Juju saw the statue of Aja Wilson, and she was amazed. She was like, wow, she has a statue. And then Coach Staley told Juju, she said, Aja's from this community, and she superstarred for this community. And it means more when you do it in your own town. Now, why is that interesting? Is because Coach Staley is trying to recruit Juju, who is from California, to South Carolina. And for her to tell her that is being real to the fullest, because usually coaches won't tell you that, especially if you're not from that area, because they want you to come to that school. But Coach Staley was saying, hey, do it in your own town. It means more. And you're able to get a statue and do things like that. So I thought that was very interesting for Coach Staley to do, because she wants the best for not only for her players, but for potential people that might come to the school. She told Juju to, essentially she was telling her, hey, USC, University of South Carolina, not University of Southern California, and not South Carolina is where you'll make your name. And that's what Juju Watkins ended up doing. She ended up going to University of Southern California and not the University of South Carolina. And I don't know if that talk had anything to do with it, but it seemed very pivotal for the decision-making process, especially for someone coming just out of high school to hear that and to see that statue and hear that from such a legendary coach already. But I think Coach Staley, as a WNBA player and as a college player herself, was very tough, tough-minded, tough point guard. She was a smaller point guard, probably average size point guard of like 5'6", but she was very tough-minded, from Philly, had the inner city experience, and she was very tough in it, and that shows on her team as well, especially now. Raven Johnson, who plays under the tutelage of Coach Staley, is very tough-willed. We saw what she does on the court, not from a statistical standpoint, but mostly a defensive standpoint and controlling the offense, which Coach Staley did at her time when she was playing. Raven Johnson did a tremendous job on Caitlin Clark and the championship last year. And a lot of people don't talk about it because, like I said, she doesn't do a lot statistically, but she does a lot of the small things, a lot of the gritty things that needs to be done for a team to be successful. And she takes under that tutelage of Coach Staley. And they have a freshman, Joyce Edwards, that I'm excited about, who plays in the post and is leading the team in scoring right now. I believe somewhere around 17 points a game. She's very pivotal for that team right now, and they're doing very well. But Joyce Edwards is someone to watch going forward. And also Chloe Kitts. She was more of an ancillary piece last year. She was more of a bench player, or mixed and mingles in the lineups mostly. But her emergence this year has been great as well. She's been doing well with the rebounding, even scoring at times, but mostly rebounding and things like that. Um, her her change on the game has been tremendous for that team, and it's key to their success right now. But they did get the tough win last year versus Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. And the emotion that Coach Staley had was just, it made me cry just from seeing it, because you have to think about everything they went through that year. They were 38-0 last year, perfect season, very difficult to do. They almost lost against, I believe, Tennessee in the SEC championship game. Camila Cardoso, the unlikely hero, shot a three-pointer that banked in, and they won that game, which was tough as well. But just seeing the emotion of Coach Staley in that game was, like I said, it was a tearjerker. Seeing what all the struggles she had to go through that year, and all the management she had to do just to get that team to where they were. But I believe that Coach Staley set the tone for Deion Sanders to be, and other players, these other former players, to take these jobs, and for people to give them the opportunity, because they see what their star power can bring and the recruitment that they can bring, what the revenue that they can bring to the team, the just the visibility that the team has, the more TV games they have, the ability to make these bowl games and NCAA championships and things like that. So a lot of people probably didn't even consider that when they first started. But when you have a Deion Sanders who is prime time and who brings all these lights and cameras, it brings more to your team. It brings more recruits. People see you more. And then ultimately you have a better program from that superstardom. And Don Staley doesn't get enough credit for the work she's done, because, like I said, coaches are underrated a lot because they think it's the players. But you need both pieces. You can have the best players, but if your coaching isn't good in tough situations and tough moments, like I said, it's all for naught. You don't have strategy. You don't have discipline. And those coaches bring discipline. Coach Staley runs her program tight, and people know in tough situations what to do. They know different scenarios because they practice those. Belichick has been given a lot of credit for that, because he used to have his players, if it's going to be cold, you're practicing outside in the cold. If it's expected rain, he's wetting the football. He's doing things that make you ready for the game, because you'll have to deal with these situations eventually. You would have to deal with these adversities, and you need to know what to do in the event that these adversities do occur. And that's all a big part about coaching. And Don Staley has won 81% of her regular season games and finished number 1 8 times in the conference since 2008. It's astonishing. They probably didn't think they would get that kind of results from her upon getting that job, because, like I said, that stuff is legendary type stuff. Even though you've been coaching since 08, which is about 17 years, that's a Hall of Fame career, especially in the NCAA. It's very difficult to win NCAA championships, especially in basketball and football. It's very difficult to do. Even some of the elite coaches don't have 3 national championships. When you think about, you think about a Kansas coach and Bill Self and other players and other coaches like that. It's very difficult to do. A lot of pieces have to work together, and then a lot of times you're turning over players fast. But in college, you don't turn over as fast in women's basketball, because to get to the league, you have to be, I believe, 22 years old to go to the WNBA. So she does have the benefit of that, of being able to keep the players longer, but she's still able to be productive with this talent. So just to wrap up here, they're doing well this year. They're first place in the SEC, 17-1, and they're number 2 in the country in a very competitive NCAA this year. So we'll keep an eye on that, and then just cover them once they hit the NCAA tournament and the SEC tournament. But until next time, I'll see you next time.